Okay.
All right, folks, welcome everybody to another powerful edition here. And I tell you what, we got our good friend Colin Plume with us from noblegoldinvestment.com. Of course, hit that link, www.pastorpaulgold.com, or call him at 877-646-5347. The gold rush, the California gold rush. Okay. It's been a wild year. If we can reflect on this whole year for a minute, Colin, what a run on gold and silver and precious metals. And wow.
Yeah, it's been a blessing. I think it's been a blessing. I think that when you've been doing this as long as I've been doing this, and you've heard, I just go back to when I started, 2008 in precious metals and talking to people, and gold it's a relic, and it doesn't pay a dividend, and it doesn't do this, and it doesn't do, everybody would tell you what it doesn't do. But, in a year like this, when, you know, the world is really sending a message that we've spent so much money, we've created so much debt. And this year is really a reaction. A lot of it is reaction to what happened during COVID. A lot of that money
Yeah.
printing, the spending is finally coming to fruition now. And it took time. It took time, but we're starting to see the problems and the cracks in the armor, and just the overall sentiment of the world. And it's sad. I think we've never had consumer sentiment in the US lower and the equity market higher. And I think that's, yeah, it's never happened in history. I mean, the consumer sentiment right now is very pessimistic about jobs, about housing, about the overall economy in general. Yet the equity market is, breaking all-time highs consistently. So there's definitely a disconnect there, and I think that would be worrisome for anyone that has all their eggs in one basket, all their money in the equity market. I would be concerned about that because you just don't see those things correlate consistently over time, because part of what keeps our economy going is people's belief in the economy, spending money, traveling, buying goods, things of that nature. And people right now are more concerned than ever about where things are. And coming in, we're in December. I mean, this is a time where people typically have a little bit more optimism coming into the time with their families and
Yeah.
spending time at the end of the year. But right now, people are concerned, and I think that has parlayed a lot of the growth in precious metals. And today's, an important time that we got together. Silver broke $60 an ounce today.
Unbelievable.
I don't know if you saw that,
No,
but
I didn't.
and you can look at every chart under the sun: silver versus the S&P, silver versus the Dow, silver versus Bitcoin, silver versus gold, silver versus bonds. Silver is the number one, as of today, is the number one asset class in the whole market. There's nothing that's done better.
Well, you wrote the book on it. You said silver would be the new oil.
Silver's the new oil. Yeah.
It's the new
And interestingly enough, oil is at an all-time low. I don't know if you saw that.
Well, that means silver really truly is the new
Someone that's, a buy low, sell high person, I would say maybe oil's a good buy right now. But I think that what a lot of it comes down to is, where is the economy going? So I look at things like, okay, so AI, right? Everyone's talking about AI. What is the things that will shake out of AI, Pastor Paul? So for instance, let's just say a lot of the tech that they're going after isn't as successful as they want it to be, but they know that the computing they need it, and it is successful. They need the
Right.
chips, they need those cooling stations,
Yes.
they need those warehouses, right? Like, we know that.
We know.
Whatever they're computing may change. It might not be the thing that they're computing today, but it's basically like, energy in, heat. How do you keep the heat cool?
That's
And
right.
things that keep the heat cool, part of it is silver. Silver is a component that helps keep the data centers cool. So I look at that and go, well, whatever's going to happen, and I'm not smart enough to know what exactly is going to happen with AI. I know that uh, um, JP Morgan has moved away from a lot of this because the cost is becoming astronomical. So what they're doing now is they are trying to sell off a lot of the cost of the data centers to investors out there. They're creating
They
bonds. They're
don't wanna
creating
carry that they don't wanna carry that, capital.
correct,
It would take
correct.
too much money of
It's
everything they get coming in. You don't wanna be the guy that's
right.
funding
It's too
that.
much risk. It's too much risk. So they
Yeah.
are selling off. So they are saying to some extent that they're nervous about the potential loss in AI, that they don't feel that every dollar spent has a return. So they are divesting some of their risk. That is something to keep in mind. As much as they're saying AI, as much as you look at the stock market, so much of it is built in AI. They are divesting. The big players are divesting some of their holdings away from it in some form or another. But I do think from a manufacturing and industrial point of view, you have to look at what are the components that are going to keep energy moving, and silver is a big part of that. Also, China and the US have both made silver a critical metal over the last 60 days. China has said they're not going to be shipping critical metals. China has really, because the name of the game right now is this administration is trying to end this globalization strategy that we've been doing for the past 40 years. And I think you and I have talked about this a lot, is
Yep.
that we thought the strategy was good in the late 70s, early 80s. We'd ship all the work and all the manufacturing overseas. And
Outsource
and
everything.
yeah, and this shirt, even though it could be made here for $5, we're gonna make it in China or Taiwan for $1, and we're gonna feel great about that because it's cheaper and we're gonna save money. Now we're realizing, like, listen, COVID happened. We were in a bad situation. We weren't able to get items delivered. We need to start making things here again. So President Trump put the tariffs in place and is sort of ending this idea of globalization, in that we of course will still trade and barter, but we need to start making things here. We need to give ourselves more of a competitive advantage, and so we've created these tariffs. By doing that, if you believe that that strategy will continue, then you must believe that critical minerals is a part of that strategy. So
It
the
has to be.
US, yeah, as basically said a month ago, silver is on the critical metal list. It's the first time ever that silver's been on it. So they're saying, basically what they're saying is that we're going to hoard it, we're not going to sell it, we're going to keep it, and we're going to try to acquire silver. China is doing the same thing. So you have two of the biggest players in the world
Going for it.
sending a message that silver's
Let me
important.
ask let me ask you, so we're talking now really, you just moved us into the great reset is here.
Right,
Really, and it's a shift from fiat money to precious metals, to actual
right.
assets. And here's something you sent to me. This is stunning, folks. Gold is around $4,380 an ounce, let's say. That's 55% higher than last year. That is insane. Uh, Silver might be higher than that. So there's the gold rush. When we talk about a gold rush, there's actually a guy named Nick Preblack who's out there mining gold, finding gold. And one day he found 127 ounces of gold, which is worth $556,000 today. Okay. So what's the real rush? Yes, that was one guy panning for gold, a miraculous day. But people can find the gold rush. Do you think people, though, are going to sell gold and buy silver now? Are you recommending sell some of the gold you have and buy silver, even though silver's at $60 an ounce? Is silver going to $100 an ounce?
I don't recommend anyone to do anything like that. We do have people that do it because they believe that that's the better strategy for them. I think you shouldn't sell a highly valued item for another highly valued item. That's
Okay.
my opinion. And that if you're thinking long term and you understand what's happening, and this guy is, I think it's an interesting story that he's
Yeah.
panning for gold.
Yeah.
And it reminds me so much, if you haven't like spent time learning about the gold rush, There's a great podcast, American History Tellers. He's done like a few hundred podcasts, but he takes little bits of history, and he has like a 3 to 5 part series on the gold rush. It's great, and he chops it up in a way, and I highly recommend it. But one of the things that you realize is that it's exactly a story like this that gets the world moving there, and
Yep.
they go, you know what? He found $550,000
In one day.
in one day in a river,
Yep.
you know, and I mean, who knows? Maybe he did. I don't want to,
I don't know. That's
but
a big day.
I've been gold. Have you ever gone gold panning?
I've never, but I want to after reading that. I'm like, well, I might as well swing by someday.
Okay, so I took my 3 kids. We went to Denver earlier this year. We went gold panning in the mountains. They used to do a lot of mining there. We were in a little pan gold panning for 2 hours. My kids thought it was 12 hours, and they're shaking it, and they're saying, you know what, this is hard.
Hard work.
This is a lot of work. There's not a lot coming out here. I'm not seeing a lot of gold coming out here. So I hate to like hate on a story that came out from a guy, but I know that this is exactly how the gold rush happened. Is that some guy said he found a gold nugget, and
Everybody
basically
went rushing.
everyone went rushing in, and the people that make money during the gold rush is the restaurant guy, the hotel guy, the guy selling the shovels, the guy taking people out because he knows where the gold is. He's going to tell you where the gold. He's your tour guide to success. And so I wouldn't do what they did back then, which is people literally sold their belongings and moved to California. And most ended.
Many of them died trying to get there. I mean, the West was wild. It was
Yeah.
a dangerous trip.
Yeah. California is amazing because if you think about the story of California, it went from the gold rush and then moving here to the next thing, which was the allure of Hollywood.
Yeah.
So like
I never
California, right, the Hollywood mystique and so people, fell victim to this unbelievable story of like they're going to find gold. They didn't find gold. Now the next thing is and Hollywood was later, but California has this kind of allure of these mythical things that are going to make you rich or famous. And many people, unfortunately, just don't. They don't. It doesn't seem to happen for them.
people want to live the dream.
They
And
wanna. They wanna, and they should have a dream. They
right.
should. But it's. I think that so to go back to your question, should they sell their gold to buy silver? I think that what you should be thinking about is the reason you don't want to sell your gold is because central banks, China has bought gold every month for 13 months in a row.
Okay.
They continue. They're not selling their gold. They're making their precious metals more critical. They're making silver more critical.
Yep.
Other central banks are buying
You're
gold.
saying both are still going to continue.
They're still. It's not the time
It's
yet.
not over.
I
We're
don't
not over.
I don't think it's over yet. And I would say that because if you think about what's going to happen, my prediction and I predict 2 things are going to happen next year. I think President Trump is going to put in his new Fed chair,
Yep.
and the person that he's already pegged is very aggressive in terms of lowering interest rates.
Thank God.
I think they're going to lower interest rates. I think they're going to change their mandate from 2% to 3%, which I've been saying for 3 years. I think their mandate's going to be 3%, and I think that they're going to do quantitative easing. And
Hmm.
if anybody remembers what happened during the last quantitative easing, which happened in end of 2008 and 2009, because they needed to stimulate, right? They need to get
To get some
money,
cash into the system. Right.
getting money in this, doing quantitative easing, expanding the money supply is always good for things that have a limited supply. So I think it'll be good for real estate. I think
Mhm.
real estate will start to. I think it'll start to turn around a little bit. And the next year, second or third quarter, we'll start to see some opportunities. And they've even said, I don't know if you saw, but BlackRock bought 2 massive office buildings in San Francisco. And you say to yourself, why would anybody
Why?
want to buy? But they think the tide has turned. They think there's an opportunity there. They bought them, 60% below replacement cost.
Right.
So, and they think long term. So I don't think you should sell your gold to buy silver. I think you should be buying both. And you're really just stockpiling your safety, your nest egg as you continue to go. And so you have quantitative easing potentially going to happen. You have lower interest rates. So that means the dollar is going to be weaker.
Means
What's
cash.
going to what's going to protect you against a weaker dollar? And that's going to be gold and silver. And I know these numbers are shocking, $4,300 gold, silver at 60. But I do think that this is just kind of a new norm of where we are. Could we have some corrections? Of course, we could have some
Yeah.
corrections.
Yeah.
But you see the demand for gold and silver all over the world is skyrocketed. And then the new thing that you have with silver that you've never had is Mumbai is buying tremendous amounts of silver. India has still buying the yellow metal, but now they like the silver metal. They're buying tremendous amounts on the retail market of silver over the last 60 days. And not only are they buying it, but they want it. They want possession of it. And that's the sort of scenario that could go hyperbolic, Pastor Paul, is that if you look at all the contracts that are out there for silver, silver and gold are within 1% range. Only 2 to 2.5% of the contracts that are out there are actually delivered in physical metal. If the world says, forget it, get me the contract, I want it, I don't want the contract, I deserve the metal, it goes to 5%, we will run out of both metals. Guaranteed. There's no doubt about it. You can look at everything that's out there. If we go to 10%, it would create absolute hysteria. People would be waiting months and months because they're already waiting right now. You have a big order on the exchange. You can't get delivery right away. You
Right.
should, but you can't. And
Because
that's
it's not actually there.
not actually there. They're waiting
They're
on
still
delivery.
mining it. They're still mining it. And there's everybody standing in line
Right.
to get it. So,
Correct.
so if you place a big order for silver, you're gonna have to wait.
Yeah. Except if you buy from us. Like
Unless
if
you,
you buy
yes,
from
because
us,
you already have it.
because we already have it. We don't sell anything we don't have.
Yeah.
So that's the big difference
That's huge.
between buying a ETF or a contract or any of those. We've never bought anything we didn't have access to. Yeah, there's a season greetings coin, very fun. I love that coin.
I mean, guys, if you go right now to www.pastorpaulgold.com and you get on the phone with them, call the number 877-646-5347 and say, look, I want to do some diversifying. I want to roll over my 401k into a gold or silver IRA, or I want to buy some gold and silver. But especially if you set up an IRA or something, you're giving away, Colin, 10 of these 1 ounce, which are now $60 a piece.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy to give away 10 of these, but you're doing it and you're blessing people who are going to be blessed because they're rolling that cash into precious metals.
Absolutely.
That's incredible.
Yeah, no, I remember giving away 10 when silver was, you and I were talking, silver was at $15.
I remember that. Yes.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's a great time of the year. I love, and a lot of people have been waiting around they've been thinking about it all year. And I want to give them a good incentive,
Yeah.
to get 10 ounces of silver, $600 value for any qualified IRA. I think it's a good push
Good deal.
to
Great.
get you in there. Yeah, it's a great opportunity. And I would say, like, as we're reflecting on the year, is that we do feel so blessed to be with you, Pastor Paul, as a partner. People ask me all the time, like, what is the key to success with Noble Gold? And I always say the people that work for us and our partners are genuine, real people, hardworking people
Yep.
that have a realistic view of the world, and that they're people that give back and have an energy. And really, that's the truth. From our employees to our
Yeah.
influencer partners, everybody, we hand pick everybody, and everybody believes in this country.
Yes.
Everyone has, strong work ethic, good morals.
Yes.
I mean, that's the thing that
Well,
separates
that's what's
us.
blessing you. That's why your company is so blessed, and I love working with you and being a partner. I really, really do.
Like,
And I love sending those of you watching, I love sending you there. And I have confidence, total confidence that when you pick up the phone and talk to Noble Gold, to any of his associates, which I love the fact you assign people to them.
yes, correct.
It feels so good to say, go guys, you can trust him. You can
Yep.
trust them. They're good. They're real. That's why I love being a partner. It's easy for me because it's easy to sell anything that's real.
Well, and it's something you believe in too. I think that's the whole thing too. Is I think the key is what I found, and we're going to be 10 years next year. That 10 years in June. It's our anniversary of Noble Gold, but I started in the business, 6 years before that. So I've been doing it for a long time. And the thing that I've found over this time period is that with people that believe in the product, it resonates. And so, you believe in it, owning gold, silver, like this is something that you are passionate about, and that translates into people understanding it. And listen, we're ups and downs in anything, in any product, in any investment. I mean, things can definitely change over time, but the key is that we're with people forever. They can call us, they can get that good customer service. And we've been looking back, and now that we're hitting the 10 years, and it's I mean, just almost $3 billion in gold sales, gold and silver sales,
Unbelievable.
thousands and thousands of IRAs, thousands and thousands of clients, and we're still getting better, and we're still improving. I mean, we had a meeting yesterday about an idea to make this experience even a little bit better. We're working on it.
And
So
you've
our,
been and you've been a blessing to us. I mean, I'm sure the other influencers would say the same. You've been a blessing to our ministry. I can't tell you how important it is. And because of that, I'm able to build a church in Pakistan, send blankets out to people with cancer, special blankets prayed over to comfort them. And we've seen miracles even happen. All the different things we do. Well, we couldn't do that without having a partner like you. And so I want to say that from the Paul Begley prophecy ministry side of this, thank you so much for being a blessing to us
yeah,
as we try to be a blessing to you.
absolutely, it's been amazing. I mean, listen, there's a reason why gold's been mentioned over 400 times in the Bible, right? I mean,
It's the biblical currency. I keep saying that. I mean,
yeah, I mean, they're lighting the streets with gold, right? I mean,
Amen.
and I think it's funny, and that's the thing that I to go back and then I know you're busy, but the thing that I always think about with gold when I first got in the business, and they'd be like, it doesn't pay a dividend, it doesn't, but there's something like kind of a purity of gold that is not in other things, and I think that's a big part of this is that you think about all these thousands of years them using gold as a currency. It was the one thing that they could understand the value. It can't be tarnished. It survives. I mean, we have coins that are 150 years old that look like they were minted yesterday. I mean, think about. I mean, what else looks that
Nothing does that.
good from 100? I mean, I have a
Best conductor to it. Whenever I talk to these guys that are musicians and audio,
yeah,
gold is the one. When they get wires for speakers and what have you, they want it to be gold.
yep,
Because gold is the perfect conduit. It's the
yep,
perfect flow. You
yeah.
know,
That's why it's used in
Sure.
heart monitors too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a big part of it. So I think there's just a purity to it that is nice, and also from owning Noble Gold and founding it, I like the purity of the transaction because you buy from us and you get it, or we store, but it's a very clean. There's no like ambiguity in what we do, right? And I love that. I can sleep good at night that we've shipped at the end of the week. Everything's shipped and out the door, and it's coming, right? You ordered it, and you're gonna feel good about it, and you're gonna got it, and then in a few years, God willing, what's happened is a lot of these clients have made unbelievable profits, and they sell it back because they need it for whatever and they can do that too, and they have that liquidity. So it makes me feel good that all those things are
So let
available.
me ask you, and I don't want you to be, a prophet here and trying to figure it out, but going into 2026, and let's just say over the next 3 years, okay? if a person is right now was going to roll their 401k into Noble Gold, should they put it into gold? Should they put
Yeah.
it into silver?
Yeah.
What what
Yeah.
would you
I
recommend?
think if you don't own gold, you have to own gold. You have to. So if you own none, you have to get some gold. I do think, and I think I've told you this many times, over the last 2 to 3 years, we were actually selling more silver than gold,
Yeah.
which until, uh, March of this year, it seemed like maybe that wasn't the right move, right? Because gold had already skyrocketed.
Yeah, we thought it capped out, it tapped out,
Yeah, and so people maybe that were all heavier in silver missed the boat, but then silver went on this,
run.
historic run. I mean, silver's up over 100% this year. So, I think the silver bugs finally ended up winning, and catching up. I think it's all personal, really. I think it's all silver can be more I always tell people this is the thing.
It
I
can
don't
be more volatile.
day to day, yeah. And so I say if that's gonna bother you, then you should do more gold, but you should have some silver. And I think that platinum and palladium are gonna have a little bit of a run too. They're still
Okay.
probably undervalued. But I think it really just depends on what you believe personally. And also, if you do one metal and then in a few years it goes up, and people are doing it to answer your question, some people are selling their gold going to silver and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it really just depends on what you believe.
What if people have real estate
Mhm.
and they're thinking, I'm gonna sell this house and I'm gonna buy precious metals?
Yeah, I think what it comes down to with real estate, the thing is, and in my book, where's my book?
Where's your book at? Yeah.
My book, Silver's a New One, I have a whole chapter on real estate.
Okay.
The end chapter is about. I was just trying to see what chapter. Right at the end, I have a whole chapter because I own real estate. I buy real estate, and I talk about it in the book about opportunities in real estate. And so what I say is it really depends on the opportunity in real estate. It's not that real estate's a bad sector. There's still ways to make a profit
Well,
and
you're saying that Trump's getting ready to put in a new Fed chair is going to probably be aggressively lowering those interest rates. If
right.
that happens, there's going to be a rally in
I
the
think
housing
yeah,
market,
I
right?
think I think third, fourth quarter next year will be better for real estate. So I would say probably want to hold off if you're going to sell anything. And it really just depends on this. And I think this is the thing you have to think about. You have to do an analysis when you own real estate on what is your actual return on your money, like what do you have invested in
Right.
it, and what's going to be your return based on expenses, which means you have to. The one downside right now with real estate is that so many contractors are getting out of the business. So many plumbers have already gotten out of the business. The cost to fix the normal day-to-day things have maybe doubled. I would say over the last 5 years. I mean, you own a home, like like it's just to get something regular fixed is gone up pretty.
Yeah. At least double.
And
Yeah.
the supplies of those things. So you can't do your calculation based on 5 years. You have to go like, hey, it's going to cost me. I'm going to have to do basic maintenance on this property over the next 5 years, and you should probably factor that that's going to go up at least 3 to 5% a year. If you do that and you can still see a decent return, then you're okay. But if you're only basing your return based on appreciation and nothing else, then I think you may want to move away.
Yeah,
I
that's a good
wouldn't.
point.
I think that it's sort of fool's gold to only buy real estate just for appreciation. You should be, if you have a house and you're renting it out for $5,000 a month, your all-in expenses should be 4,000, right?
Yep.
And if you don't have any profit or if you don't have any margin for error, that's where a lot of people right now are in trouble because their maintenance costs, everything, insurance is all going up, right?
And
And
tax.
yet their rent is pretty stagnant. It hasn't gone up. It's actually
Right.
probably gone down. And that's why I think a lot of people have said maybe it's time to just move on and sell their properties. But if you're like thinking I can hold this for 20 years or 25 years or I'm going to give it to my kids, you're going to have a much different formula if that makes sense.
Yeah,
So
it does. It does. It's your time in life. It's where you're at.
correct.
And what is your expense? What's your region like? Where do you live? Okay. I can tell you down here in Florida, they're building and building and building and building. It's unbelievable because the guys up in New York and in the Northeast, they're all selling and coming this way.
Right. And it doesn't seem like it's going to slow down anytime soon.
No. And actually, if he lowers that interest rate, then the people in New York and
Move more.
they're going to be able to sell their homes. That part of their struggle's been
Right.
interest rates too high. So it's going to be a massive I-95 will need to be enlarged, okay, for the people that are coming to Florida, and now some of them will drop off in Tennessee and some will shoot over to Texas, but that's basically what's happening. There's this incredible rush. So if you own property down here in Florida, obviously the prices of it is going to go up, and it has.
Yeah.
Let me ask you though, what about Bitcoin? We haven't even brought this up, but where do you see Bitcoin in 2026?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a rough year for Bitcoin. I think we might be in the winter that we had a few years back. So I think it's going to hang around where it is. I even think maybe it could drop down to 65,000, 70,000. I think it's going to be a little bit rougher
Big hit.
of a time period for it. It'll take a few years, I think. I think 27 could be a little bit better, but yeah, I think that there's some profit taking, some consolidation. There's some concerns in that market. Also, just like mining, continuing mining is becoming more and more expensive.
Yep.
So that makes it more and more difficult because they have to entice the miners. If the miners aren't around, then Bitcoin can't exchange hands.
Right.
So if that continues to get more and more expensive, you're going to have less and less miners wanting to do it. And so, that's something that you have to factor into it also. So I think we're in a little bit of a pullback. I mean, listen, it ran for 2-3 years.
Had a great run.
And I think it's gonna be a little bit of a flat line, maybe even down a little bit next year.
Well, folks, what you want to do is go to www.pastorpaulgold.com or pick up the phone and call right now, 877-646-5347. Again, I want to tell you, he's given this beautiful silver 1 ounce pure silver coin, season greetings. He'll give you 10 of these if you go ahead and set up and qualify, and you probably do qualify for a gold or silver IRA.
Yes.
And Colin, thank you so much. We've had a great year. I'm looking forward to 2026 for a better year. Why not? Why not think big? Let's think big and better.
Can get better every year. Just a little bit of improvement every time you can. Try to get better. Try to bless people. Try to thank people. Try to compliment people. And just spread the good word. I mean, that's what we both have done. That's what we focus on. And I'm excited to spend some time with my kids and some family and really just, get down with them for the last week of the year. We're open for business, but I'm going to take a little bit of time off and I'll come back next year recharged.
All right. Thank you, Colin, for being here again. And I'll see you next year. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
God bless. And folks, I hope you've enjoyed this segment with Colin Plume, of course, at noblegoldinvestment.com. Great man and great company. Really is. Great people. They love the Lord, and they don't just say it, they do it. And so we appreciate that. God bless all of you.